More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. With hopes that black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about. Happy Friday. Oh, yes. So, happy Friday indeed. We've got a jam-packed day around here. Friday's a different kind of schedule because it's Freedman Fridays, and so we always focus on reparations. Even on vacation, we're talking reparations. Why? Because we would like to be informed. We would like to be the vanguard of change and progress. We want to win this in every phase. And, people like to say it's a multi-stage process. Okay, so let's win every day, every stage. And we do that partly by knowing what the heck is going on. I have learned so much in, it's been like 14 months we've been doing this. Anyway, so today we do Freedman Fridays, hour 2. And we will be talking with Gray King, a.k.a. Black State. Hour 3, comedian Ray Grady will join me in the studio. Really looking forward to that. He is the alpha male. He's a lot of fun. And we need some levity in this piece. And hour 1, well, I think you know because it's Friday, and it's every other Friday that we talk to a KBLA correspondent. He is an activist. He's the owner of a business, ES Advisors, a public policy firm, and he's worked on many a campaign and policy campaign as well. Ed Sanders, good morning.
Dominique, good morning. How are you?
Ooh, I'm good. How are you?
Friday. We're in the holidays. We're moving into the holiday season.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. Ed, I forget who your football team is.
I'm an old Raider fan from when the Raiders were here, but the Rams, I'm starting to be a Ram fan more and more.
Okay, so, yeah, right. So, Ron from Richmond was calling me, harassing me. Will I be rooting for the 49ers or the Rams in last night's game? And actually, I didn't get to see the game, but because I was in Watts. But the Rams won, so you're happy. Miles doesn't care. He's an Eagle fan. He's shrugging his shoulders as we speak. But the Rams are, they're kind of like pulling it together, right? At the end of the season. Yeah, well, which is the time to get it together, right?
I'm really happy about last night. Typically the 49ers, have come down here and sort of made their home in SoFi, but the Rams are starting to put together. That gets exciting as we move towards the playoffs.
It does. I mean, honestly, I'm also, like you say, you're an old school Raiders fan. I'm an old school 49ers fan. I'm from San Francisco. I grew up when they were when I was a little kid, they were the worst team ever. As I got older, they started winning and had a whole dynasty. And, I'm a 49ers fan, but I feel like the Rams have been calling me in, Ed, calling me in. And yesterday, when I went out to Watts to the Top Dog Entertainment event, Christmas party, the Rams were one of the sponsors. Like everywhere I go, it's the Rams. So I think I'm also, I like your model. I could still have love for my 49ers, and except on last night, and then be rooting for the Rams the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's right. I went to the Ram game when it was here. I wore my my Raider shirt. My brother was mad at me. I remember that. So maybe next time it comes out, it'll be the Ram jersey instead.
Yeah, look, if my brother sees me in that Ram shirt on my Instagram, I'm in trouble. But luckily, he's in Australia, so he probably won't. Well, I don't know. I guess they do have Instagram in Australia. Anyway, I digress. Congrats going out to the Rams, and congrats going out to Top Dog Entertainment. The City of Los Angeles council member Tim McCosker, who was out there all day kicking it with these artists, and we saw Karen Lane, the Deputy Mayor of Community Safety, out there doing her thing, along with, SZA, Doechii, Top Dog, of course, Kendrick Lamar. It was crazy. There was a lot of people there. It was a long day. But what I really, really loved, aside from, its community, is they prioritized the kids. They had a special kids section where only children could sit, and it was right up in the front. They had children on stage when Kendrick performed. One of his songs, he was surrounded by kids from the community, from the Nickerson Gardens. And today they're having their big toy giveaway. So, I just think it's amazing. Glorilla was there. I just think it's amazing that they, this is their 11th annual, but they've blown up so much in the past few years that they continue to give back and do this free concert out in the public housing. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it defies let's call it the mainstream thought or narrative that you can't do something like that violence would erupt or something like that. And I don't think we've ever believed that to be how our community comes out to certainly celebrate children. And I love that that sort of experience is here, that Top Dog is bold enough to pull it together and that community minded to put it together in that way, I guess.
Yeah, the crowd was real mellow. It was a lot of people. I think the line was going on for like 20 blocks and longer when I counted. It was a lot of people out there. They had a big stage, they had food trucks, and people were chill. They were happy. People were in a good mood, and it's a good thing because it was a long day. People were not testy. It was, incident free. And there were cops like on every corner as you went in. But when you got inside the actual event, I didn't see police. I saw security and top dog staff. I didn't see police. So it didn't feel, sometimes when you go to community events, it feels like a police state. It wasn't giving that. It was giving community day in the park. So I love that so much.
Love it.
And the Rams have a football field out there, and then they have a community organization that they're working with there. And of course, Vanessa Bryant and the Mamba Foundation have installed this incredible basketball gym there. It's brand new and it's beautiful. So a lot happening. Shout out to the Watts community, gang task force, and all the people that work within that organization that make everybody in the community feel welcome and safe.
Absolutely. Always Watts up.
Yeah. So that was quite an experience. And I'm glad I went because, LA can do certain things that are just uniquely LA in my opinion. And that's why those are the things that make me love being here.
We got a special thing here going in Los Angeles, Southern California. What we do, the world sees, and I think we always do it so well. And especially as we're getting older, we started this talking about the NFL, and you kind of think about how would, Dre and Snoop, when they did the Super Bowl halftime show, how amazing that felt. And what you experienced yesterday is going to be, front and center for the world when the Super Bowl comes around next time, as that whole team will be, the Super Bowl show.
It also reminds me of the gang truce days, because Kendrick is pushing peace and people are heeding the call. And, it was just, I don't know. Okay, so you've worked with many an elected official, Ed, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed by the way when you get to that intersection of politics and pop culture, politics and hip hop, or especially hip hop, but any pop culture. And, Tim McCosker, who's, one of the white, members of the city council, he is buttoned up in his suit, and then, members of the mayor's team, Karen Lane and Melvin Haywood, who of course is over the grid, but that's not as surprising with him because he comes out of the intervention, that they're able to work with these artists to bring community services. Of course, the Justice Care and Opportunity Department was a sponsor of that. Judge Songhai Armstead, who was here on the show day before yesterday. So the county is involved, they're sponsors. How do you see that in terms of that partnership between hip hop and government? Electeds always have to be mindful of their images. They're concerned about missteps. It doesn't seem like a marriage made in heaven, but yet we see it happening pretty consistently here in LA.
I think that, I get what you're saying, but I think that was sort of the early view, right? Like maybe the 1980s, early 90s political figures felt like that. I think, certainly I think it goes both ways, right? So you've got artists that are more thoughtful. There's always been thoughtful artists, but when the top of the ticket can design and work up a program and really be genuine, no matter who you are, whether you're an elected official, business leader, you recognize that. And that's actually part of why that artist is so successful. I think on the elected side, when hip hop started to explode, particularly on the West Coast, and the gangster rap label got thrown on, our artists on the West Coast, I think that imagery scared political leaders.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at Atlanta and the way that, Fonnie Willis, for example, has gone after hip hop artists and things like that, I mean, there's still some of that tension there for sure.
Yeah. But
I guess it's safer to be in hip hop is kind of what you're saying. Like before, it was automatically a no.
Well, and there was also a period where, we had deaths every night. Like when you think back to that time period for LA, the drive-by death toll was so high, right? And so you really had a true public safety issue that elected officials were trying to understand and cope with. I think now you can work hand in hand, right? Because I think when gangster rap first came out, it felt like for elected officials, it must have felt like it was fueling the violence. I don't think we view our hip hop artists as fueling mass violence like that anymore. And in fact, we're working with. I think elected officials have gotten better at working with artists to accomplish, social goals, whether it be, holiday parties or healthcare, whatever. You're finding more artists that are playing a role, particularly on the hip hop side.
Yeah.
Now.
I mean, and in reality, we never expected, people from the community never expected hip hop to spark off mass violence. They were really more reporting what was going on in the community, other than beefs between artists and beefs between labels and stuff like that. But yeah, it just felt like a full-blown moment of that because it was the combination of the artists and the community. The artists and the electeds and county departments that made that possible. And you had, Judge Armstead up on stage giving an award and a beautiful painting done by one of the artists in her department to Top Dog, and you had Top Dog, welcoming the electeds. So quite whatever it takes, I say, to bring resources to the community. And shout out to McCosker for getting the city to agree to waive parking tickets for the day, because people were parked every which way. And yeah, it was a lot of folks. It was, I don't know, I'm not good at estimating crowds, but it was huge. Think large concert. Oh, and how can I forget Sir, Inglewood Sir, one of my faves, was there and performed, and D Smoke was there in the front row watching his brother on stage. It was given LA family all day. Ed Sanders and Dominique are here, but you're welcome in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Also, it feels weird talking about hip-hop without Miles getting in on the conversation, so maybe when we come forward, you'll have something to say. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited!
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh my God!
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DiPrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin ultra soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. She's cushioning things so our cheeks feel fine. So everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
behalf of the Ayers family, KBLA Talk 1580 announces the public funeral services for our very own Robin Ayers on Saturday, December 21st, 12 noon, in the living room at the Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. Robin will be sorely missed by all who knew her and the many lives she touched. We will hold on to our fondest memories forever. Family and friends are invited to come celebrate Robin's joyful life Saturday, December 21st at 12 noon in the living room at Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. KBLA Talk 1580 extends sincere condolences to the Ayers family. Robin will always be in our hearts.
I never told you all I wanted to say.
Hey, Ma, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, Dominique DiPrima, Ed Sanders. You know, Miles, we were talking hip hop, and I just wanted to see if you wanted to chime in, because that's your field. That's your professional field.
Yeah, no, I mean that is one thing I'm learning about LA too. Is the LA will rally around something. You know what I mean? They're waiting for a reason to rally and show up and, show off their clothes, show off that outfit. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm glad LA had that chance yesterday. I'm upset I didn't get to make it. I was really looking forward to trying to pop out and make it. But like as you said, Dominique, we talked off the mic. I knew the traffic was going to be crazy. I didn't even want to fight to get out there. I just, chilled. But I'm glad that it was a success, though, for sure.
Yeah, someone definitely blocked in our car. We had to wait for that person to come. But luckily they did. But, again, police were not even harassing people. They were just sitting on the corners. They were not inside the concert. And that was nice because it just, it's nice to be able to just have a community day where people get to do what they do. The little kids were dancing. The whole day. That was great. I love that. I love that so much. Shout out to Donnie Watts Task Force and all those folks. So next year, 12th annual, you're going to have to just get the day off.
We'll try to be on the stage next year.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. You should be on the stage. That would have been good. And, of course, I was happy because I've never seen Sir live. So that was a big highlight for me. Anytime I get to see Kendrick, that's a big highlight for me. Anyway, so Ed, did you play the lottery, Ed? Do you play the lottery, Ed?
I think it's tonight. I'm playing the lottery tonight. Isn't it like $500 million or something?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe even I'll go play it. 394 million, maybe. Yeah, 390. No, that was the old jackpot. I don't know how much it is. I'm wrong.
Like 617 million, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, here it is. 670. That's crazy. But I always think that I'm lucky in life, so I'm probably not going to win that.
No, you're probably not going to win, but if you do, I'll be the happiest KBLA listener. Like, hey, I'll be at your door.
You'll be my new best friend.
Exactly.
You and your wife will be my new best friends. Yeah.
Show up to work on Monday, Dominique, if you win today.
Yeah. But I'll be rolling up in like a Bentley or something.
Yeah, Miles, line up the backup host.
That's like get a best of show
I'll
ready.
Be like, yeah, Tavis, I'm broadcasting live from Monte Carlo. Where is Monte Carlo? Yeah, I would. I love my job. I might have an attitude, but I would roll up. What I know is you got to play to win. What did you say, Ed?
I think we all love what we do until you got $600 billion or $600 million sitting in your pocket. a little cold outside at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, no doubt. So I guess I was reading that they're fighting over water. We only got a couple minutes here till news, traffic, and sports, but maybe you can elaborate on this, because I know water is one of the things you work on. That there's a sort of multi-state agreement which deals with Colorado, California, and who gets what water, and they're trying to come up with a new plan to manage the fact that we have challenges to our water supply thanks to the climate emergency and the growing populations. And my understanding is that no deal has been reached, and that is not good news. And they're not even at the negotiating table at this point. That means we could end up in court, which is not what this is all, tied to the Colorado River, right?
Right. And I think you lay it out right. I mean, you think about the Colorado River, you've got several southwestern states that border the river, California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. And they all draw water off of the river. And, you think about California, a good portion of Southern California's water comes from the Colorado River, the other from the California Aqueduct. And so each of the states has, allocations that they can draw. Otherwise, you can't dam up the Colorado River. Each state can't take, more than its share. Otherwise, the other states are left without. And also in the mix is Mexico. There's an international element because they also draw water from the river. And, over the last 10 years, there's been sort of the whipsaw of drought-like conditions to, the atmospheric rivers. And so in the lean years, there have been real issues of water supply. A lot of the reservoirs you can remember the news, were reaching record lows and were at threat of being dead pools. It was that dire. And so this pact is really an important conversation because in these dry years, while we're not in one of those dry years today, it could come, tomorrow or the next year. And we've got to have a firm understanding of who's going to get what in those sort of scenarios. But whenever resources are scarce, people are going to fight, and that's why the agreement hasn't come to pass.
Wow.
It's not very easy to do. And
Hold
with
that
the new
thought, Ed.
president coming in, it'll really be interesting.
Yeah. Didn't even think about that. You're welcome in this convo. We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. Crystal Mangum, who accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of rape in 2006, now admits she made up the whole story. Governor Roy Cooper dismissed the charges at the time due to lack of evidence. Mangum is currently in prison for second-degree murder. Over 230,000 bottles of antidepressant duloxetine are being recalled due to the presence of a cancerous chemical, nitrosamine. The FDA classified it as a Class 2 risk, indicating possible temporary or reversible health effects. President-elect Trump is Time Magazine's Person of the Year for his, quote, comeback of historic proportions. Finalists included Vice President Harris, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and Benjamin Netanyahu. And BuzzFeed is selling the studio behind the popular Hot Ones show to a group of investors, including host Sean Evans, for $82.5 million. The show features celebrities eating increasingly spicy wings. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Want to save up to 50% on new blinds and shades? Blindstar offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters at prices way less than big box retailers. And right now, save up to 50% off any order during Blindstar's July 4th sale. Hurry, sale ends July 8th. Blindstar.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Rams are acting like they want to be in the playoffs. They scored no touchdowns last night at San Francisco, but they pulled out an impressive win. 4 field goals by Joshua Carty and a strong performance by the defense led to a 12-6 win over the 49ers. The Rams are 8-6, a half a game behind Seattle in the NFC West. They have turned their season around after a 1-4 start. 3 games left on the Rams schedule in the race for the NFC West title at the New York Jets and home against Arizona and Seattle. Bronny James dropped a career-high 30 points last night in his first G League road game with the South Bay Lakers. South Bay lost to the Valley Suns 106-100. South Bay plays the Valley Suns again tonight in Tempe, Arizona. The Lakers and Clippers are back in action tonight. The Lakers are at Minnesota. LeBron did not make the trip. He's got a sore left foot. The Clippers are at Denver. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. The Equinox EV and all-new Equinox, America's best compact SUV for new vehicle quality by J.D. Power, offer both confidence and style to see you through the holiday season. It's easy to see why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Award based on 2024 models. For J.D. Power 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right, you can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you indeed. I do appreciate you. Ed, you notice I started off talking about the Rams. Like, I'm really working on not just obsessing on Trump all the time. I was trying to not even say his name because Dr. King's daughter said we should just say the president-elect and also focus on the Republican Party and their collective responsibility for the disasters that are unfolding. But Dr. Melina Abdullah says we should name him and shame him. So I'm kind of alternating between the two. Anyway, you said, well, you know, with the water allocation and this impasse that the states have come to, and I think we forgot Nevada, and some of the less populated states resent California because we have a lot of people, so we use a lot of water. But I wasn't even thinking about how that all goes haywire when Trump comes in.
Yeah, I mean, the Groundswell for Water and Housing Justice, the organization I'm with, we take the tack that there are communities, particularly communities of color, that struggle with access to clean water. And so when policy leaders, either at the state level or at the federal level, are putting together these packs, it's important to understand who's actually getting water out of the packs and who's getting left out, because there are communities that are getting left out. And in that fight, now you start to see how a presidential election can really impact that debate, right? Who's going to have, is Trump's Interior Secretary going to have a compassionate ear to hear that, a First Nation community is not getting clean water? Is that secretary also going to react if you're telling me that a heavily immigrant Latino community doesn't have access to clean water? In fact, I think they move the opposite way. So, as you were alluding to, I think everyone is kind of looking to see what sort of direction that this president can set forward or will set forward and try to react to it.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people hoping, well, maybe he won't do, whatever he said he was going to do, or maybe denial is more than a river in Africa. But we shall see.
No, he's been really clear, and this issue, we really take it for granted in the city of Los Angeles, because we can turn our faucet on. I can go right over and wash the dishes in my kitchen sink, using the water. That's not true for everybody in California. That's not true for everybody in Arizona. That clean water is the technology that we have now is a blessing. We have access to it. Not everybody does.
Yeah, well, it's going to be, again, I think that's one of the reasons why the Groundswell organization is pretty visionary, because it's going to be more and more of an issue going forward, right? Water, not just in LA, not just in the Western United States, but globally, water is probably going to be at some point the new oil.
Exactly. I mean, we also got to watch for the privatization of water itself, and you really want to keep it as a natural resource that people can access. You shouldn't necessarily have to pay to be, what I mean? Obviously, you're ratepayers. You pay to have it delivered, but
yeah,
you definitely want to make it access where people can get to it.
Yeah, because you die without it. The Franklin fire is 30% contained. It's burned 4,000 acres in Malibu, but since the wind died down, folks dodged a bullet somewhat on that one. So, yeah, the evacuations are meant to be lifted sometime today, I think. So that's good news.
Yeah, that one was sort of a flash threat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The warm air, well, the wind. I guess it was warm, but the wind to move a fire really, really quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about this, and I do want to talk about that housing project in Venice, because we haven't touched on that at all on the show. But James Farr was on with me Monday, and he went to Beverly Hills High when they had that press conference, and he talked to some students and a teacher there, a couple of teachers that are suing the school. And I didn't realize how widespread this whole N-word, N-word graffiti, feces dropped around places to terrorize black people. And those marches, I knew about the marches, the celebratory marches for Trump's victory, but I didn't realize that this was very widespread. And apparently what James found was that it was happening before Trump was elected, but then it just escalated. And he's also described parents and students saying they go to games and the children are being called the N-word and stuff. And actually my own child experienced that when we were in the independent school system. Now, Beverly Hills is a public high school, but the vibe is a little bit more like the independent schools, because the net worth of the average family there is much higher, and it's that West Side energy, right? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know you've navigated many different school systems here with your children. How do we? And he also said that it was mostly Iranian American students that were terrorizing the black students, not as many of the white ones. How do you push back on that? What should we as parents be doing? What should we as activists be doing in response to something like this?
Good question. As you mentioned, sort of the Iranian students, I have not interacted with that particular segment, so I don't have really a real thought yet on them. I do have a child in Catholic school, and I know that I started looking at, the political trends of Catholics through the years, and it's sort of a long-winded answer to get there, but the politics of Catholics in America are not the way they were under John Kennedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Kennedy Catholics have changed, and they've actually started to skew more conservative, and I think we're seeing that in their children on campus, right?
Yeah.
And so you're getting a more conservative student leaning, because the families are starting to lean that way. The other side of it is there's been a real conversation over the last 5 years, particularly on independent school campuses, around the concept of DEI. And, I think all of the schools, hold up some measure of a program or, something that they're doing under the banner. And now you can take it and evaluate whether they're actually doing anything, meaningful, but they're holding it up to the campus and those school communities. But I also think they're not doing a great job of educating the kids, because the kids don't have a real grasp of the history.
At all.
Even when you start to think about U.S. history, it's like where in the course do you get to the civil rights movement? If you do, it's usually by June, or maybe you take a little day in February to talk about it, but the arc of U.S. history, you don't really get to that part of it till the latter year. And so I don't think students really have a firm grasp of why the conversation is even needed. And so I think, you get students who are sort of lashing out, like, oh, this doesn't make sense. And so they begin lashing out. And in some of these schools, African Americans don't make up, large populations. And so,
I mean, I don't know that that we make up large populations in any of those schools. And actually the school, it was an away game that my child got called the N-word at, was actually Armenian, which was interesting. But anyway, yeah, I've
seen that though. We have seen that where like, well, let's say populations from say Eastern Europe and around the Mediterranean kind of come to the United States, and they look over and it's like a caste system anywhere. No one wants to be the bottom, and they think we're the bottom. That's the ironically funny part,
right? Except when they're marrying our basketball players. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So
our populations just have to learn to stand strong. We have a strong, beautiful history that I hope that all of the listeners that listen to KBLA know. But you stand firm in who you are, and we'll be fine. I don't take any threats from those communities as serious threats upon our safety. Our students just have to learn to hold their heads and be strong. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So when we come forward, we're going to talk about this affordable housing development that's supposed to be happening in Venice. It's a perfect example of NIMBYism, the politics of the city, and one of the reasons why you can't find an apartment for under $1 million a month. One of the reasons why you keep seeing tents on the streets, even as the mayor's office is, ramping up and advocating for millions to help bring them off the streets, and while the governor's office is spending billions, is this, I think this project in Venice, the so-called Dell project, actually encompasses a lot of those issues. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it when we come forward. Ed Sanders and Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Workers in California cut and polish man-made stone for countertops, showers, and more. Without proper protections, workers breathe in harmful dust from the artificial stone material, which puts them at risk of developing silicosis. California employers are required to protect their employees from harmful silica dust by providing proper equipment and training. Stop dusty and deadly practices. Learn more at worksafewithsilica.org. This is a message from Cal OSHA.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
If you're facing an unexpected financial emergency, you need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com can help you get up to $3,000 fast. Simply fill out the form and get an answer in 2 minutes. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Trust the name you know. WeFixMoney.com. For emergency cash up to $3,000, type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. That's WeFixMoney.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
So basically, it looks like with this Venice Dell project, it was supposed to provide 120 affordable housing units in Venice. If you know LA at all, you know there's hardly any affordable housing anywhere near the beach. Venice, Santa Monica, black people, low-income people have mostly been pushed out and priced out. And because the council member for the district, the current council member, Tracy Park, opposes that, and the city attorney, for some reason, maybe because she campaigned on it, opposes that, it is kind of it's been dragging on. Well, when it was approved in 2016, we had a different council member. Elections have consequences, right? We had progressive Mike Bonin. Now you have probably our most conservative council member, Tracy Park. And they are slow walking this thing. Yesterday, the Coastal Commission approved it, which is a huge deal, right?
Right. And so the any development that takes place along the coastal area also needs the approval of the Coastal Commission. That item was before the body, and as I understand it, it passed unanimously. Also, what throws this into sort of limbo is there was I believe a transportation commission the day before that voted to not transfer some property that would have been used as part of the deal. I think there was a city-owned parking lot.
They were supposed to be building it on, yeah. But
right.
So Tracy Park is now saying that the development is dead in the water, but the Venice Housing, Community Housing Organization is saying that's not true. She's just playing political smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and I don't know, between those two statements, I don't know where the ground is. I don't know which is right. I think he laid it out at the outset. Tracy Park, the city attorney, both campaigned for office on this specific issue. Like this was a serious issue that was driving votes, or at least a lot of conversation during that campaign. And they're staying true to what they said during the campaign. It just flies in the face of what we know of the city, that we need more affordable housing, right? And so you've got Mayor Bass and the other members of the council that know that we need affordable housing, but there is a measure of deference to a council member in their particular area.
That's the norm,
I think
right?
That's the norm. I think
Yeah.
what you also are looking at, and you also call this out, is really the NIMBYism element, right? If you take Santa Monica, if you take those West Side properties, the values, the property values have skyrocketed and over the years, and those folks feel like affordable housing near them, brings their property values down. But that doesn't give you the right to stop or claim or to stop those projects, right? And we know the long history of push out along the coastline.
All the way to Bruce's Beach, right?
Yeah, right. And even some of the prime property in Santa Monica was once owned. It was a thriving African American community, and so you look at that and you look at sort of I don't want this next to me, and I always react poorly when I see communities doing that. There are plenty of communities that have affordable housing, that have affordable housing for those that are, economically distressed, for those that are mentally ill, and, they're part of the community. And so you bring them in, you embrace them, and you figure, you make it work. You don't shut people out.
Yeah, I think that I understand deferring to council members, but if you look at the way that both Santa Monica and Venice have been canceling permanent supportive housing for the homeless, have been canceling affordable housing, have been pricing, code violationing, and pushing low-income residents out, I think sometimes we might have to push back on these council members. I get that Councilmember Park swept into office on the anti-progressive, anti-homeless rhetoric, but we have a crisis as a city, and everybody has to do their part. And Venice has arguably one of the highest populations of the unhoused. I know it's really downtown Skid Row, but in Santa Monica, which technically is its own city. But Venice also has a lot of unhoused people. So for them to act like they don't have to do anything about it is just ridiculous in my view.
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin, right? I get the council member's argument, and I get what we're saying. It makes sense that particularly where there's a city property involved, that the overarching city policy should ride. That's my take. That Mayor Bass has laid out a directive, and I think the council for the most part has signed on to that directive, and they should find a way to utilize city properties that are being put forward for housing. They should find a way to utilize that. Now, look, politics is politics, so you wait to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. Well, Forensic Accountant says if the state of California offered tax breaks to companies to allow their employees to work from home, people could literally live anywhere they deem affordable. That's true unless you work at Best Buy or Chipotle, where you actually have to go there. And a lot of our, low-wage workers are doing just that kind of work. Molly Bell says Venice was protested back in the day with ministers Tony Muhammad, other ministers in Coolio, just to name a few. I got pictures. I'm sure you do, and I remember those protests.
Love Molly Bell.
Yeah. The LA Times also quotes a former Bass administration official who now works for a developer, so that we can take it with a bit of a grain of salt. But his name is Azeen Khanmalek, and he's claiming that the Bass administration or housing officials, he doesn't name the mayor herself, are slow-walking this project and subjecting it to all kinds of obstacles that you don't normally see with affordable housing projects.
That's probably true, and that's the city attorney and a council member have a lot of impact, particularly the city attorney on projects like this. In this case, you do need the city to work with the city attorney's office. Drafting of transfer of property titles and all sorts of things. And in this case, the city attorney's office was scheduling meetings every 6-9 months, that sort of thing. So yeah, they were slow walking it, and to your earliest point, the elections have consequences, and city attorney is on the ballot every 4 years, and we talk about it, and this is one very real application where you could see the power of that office and what it can do. And so when we come back and we're talking about who might be the city attorney and who we want in those places, this is why we do that. That's why, Dominique, that's why this show is so important, because we pull back the layers and talk about things like this.
And by the way, there's a lawsuit going on. The low-income housing activists are suing the city, saying that Heidi Feldstein Soto, the city attorney, and Tracy Park have violated fair housing laws by, stalling on this project. And that case is still active. Let's go to Carl from LA. Carl, I need the short version, if you would.
Yeah, Dominique, I'll give it to you. Hey, Steelers, Lions, Chiefs, and Eagles will be the last 4 teams standing. Hey, look, yeah, I'm hoping that this renovation stuff and stuff that they do for earthquakes won't put everybody back out on the sidewalk. But my question is about Schumacher and this SSI and Social Security. He's talking about voting again over last night while I was listening to him. He don't want people on Social Security and SSI. Is that something Obama had going on when he was in office? Thank you, Dominique. Enjoy.
Okay, watch him ask a 10-minute question with 1 minute to go. Maybe we'll have a chance to address that in the final hour. I think we can look for cuts to all so-called entitlements. I call them our earned benefits under the current administration-elect. Any thoughts on that also, and whatever you want to do with this final minute, Ed?
No, I think that's right. We tried not to deal with that, but this administration is going to make it tough on the low, the middle class and Main Street Americans. And when you start thinking about cuts to Social Security, to health care, look, I'm going to tell everyone I know in Missouri and the Midwest, and I'm just going to keep beating that drum in real time, so that those families of other communities that were so Trump is going to fix everything. I want them to understand the pain that they're going through and why they're going through it. I think we're used to pain. We'll get through it, but I want them to understand why they're experiencing it.
Yeah, good point. All right. Well, Ed, thank you for tapping in. As always, you can find him at Edward M. Sanders on Twitter. I'm still there too, DiPrima Radio, and of course KBLA Talk 1580. Have a great weekend, Ed.
Thanks, Dominique. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Freedman Friday is next. It's all about reparations on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Crystal Mangum, who accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of rape in 2006, now admits she made up the whole story. Governor Roy Cooper dismissed the charges at the time due to lack of evidence. Mangum is currently in prison for second-degree murder. Over 230,000 bottles of antidepressant duloxetine are being recalled due to the presence of a cancerous chemical, nitrosamine. The FDA classified it as a Class 2 risk, indicating possible temporary or reversible health effects. President-elect Trump is Time Magazine's Person of the Year for his, quote, comeback of historic proportions. Finalists included Vice President Harris, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and Benjamin Netanyahu. And BuzzFeed is selling the studio behind the popular Hot Ones show to a group of investors, including host Sean Evans, for $82.5 million. The show features celebrities eating increasingly spicy wings. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Want to save up to 50% on new blinds and shades? Blindstar offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters at prices way less than big box retailers. And right now, save up to 50% off any order during Blindstar's July 4th sale. Hurry, sale ends July 8th. Blindstar.com.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams are acting like they want to be in the playoffs. They scored no touchdowns last night at San Francisco, but they pulled out an impressive win. 4 field goals by Joshua Carty and a strong performance by the defense led to a 12-6 win over the 49ers. Start 3 games left on the Rams schedule in the race for the NFC West title at the New York Jets and